It's a new comic book day. First and foremost, elephant in the room. Yes, new bookshelf. I put together a new bookshelf, organized all my books on it. It just has my trades and hardcovers and comics, but they are organized, and I will do a book tour video on that soon. I also need to decorate it, so like a bunch of figures or whatever knickknacks I need to put in there. With time, I will do that. And then I also have a bunch of novels and manga and stuff like that that I need to fit in here somehow. They're probably not all going to fit in here, so some of it will probably like stack on the side right here. It's kind of why they're pushed back so far, so I have room for any stuff that I want to put here or other books and whatever, or just use the table whenever I come in here. But basically, yeah, bookshelf is all nice and neat and organized, which I'm excited about. I will try to get a tour video up soon, of course, but it is the holiday season, so things are going to be very busy outside of just regular life stuff. But let's get into it. These are the comics that I read in the last week. Batman Static Beyond. This was okay. I think I like the vibe, and I very much like the Beyond universe. Excited to see Static in this way. There's a lot of bits and pieces about the story that I really like. I just don't know if I want to keep pulling this series because it's not something super interesting to me. It's just something I'm curious about, which is why I got the first issue. So I think I will probably just end up getting the trade later, if anything. But I probably won't pull the rest of the series. Not to say like the first issue is bad in any way. It's just not necessarily like my stuff. I did like the Batman Beyond stuff and the older Static stuff, so if you like that, then you could definitely dive into this. Nightwing 132. This is a really, really good issue. Very, very exciting. We get to learn more about this character who's been kind of terrorizing him. She puts on this suit for the first time too. I don't want to spoil too much, but we do get to learn more about the Zani or the Zani, the cosmic jester that's kind of terrorizing him. So I'm excited about that storyline. I'm excited about that villain. I hope that it goes in somewhere interesting. We do see Martian Manhunter in the next issue, I believe. I see him on the cover for the next issue, so I don't see why they would put him on the cover and not the book, but that would be very cool. I really like that character, so I'm excited to see how he ties into this stuff and how he's going to help. My only gripe is probably I wish there were more supporting characters. I feel like it's a very tight knit group in this story, and I would like to see more of an expansion in Bloodhaven, like what's going on and the other people that are just kind of around, you know. Power Rangers Prime number 12. This book is definitely disappointing me a lot. And I keep saying I want to keep pulling it, but this issue itself was the end of an arc. So if there was any time to stop reading it, this would probably be a good stopping point. I will probably still get the trades later. I think I have volume 1 and 2. So I'll get 3 and 4 and however much longer it lasts. You know, there was just some issues that I had with it and I did not like that. Not to mention there was like I'm pretty sure an editing error with the dialogue. One character talks and it's like mentions this guy's father, but like their bubbles should be swapped. Like their characters, the way that they're talking and who they're talking about, they're talking about each other, but their bubbles are aligned on the wrong way, which I thought was a crazy error to make. So yeah, did not like that. Batman and Deadpool. This is the other part of the other one they released a couple weeks ago or last month or something. But I just have the variant cover here with Dick Grayson and Laura Kenny. I really like those characters, and I actually think they bonded and vibed very well in this. It made a lot of sense to put them together. And I really like their story. Their story is probably my favorite. I did actually enjoy the Batman and Deadpool one, but I think that one's written by Grant Morrison, so I do like Grant Morrison. It's really just kind of like a collection of fun collab stories and stuff. But I enjoyed it for the most part. I think some stories are sillier than others, of course, but it's just kind of like a fun little collab, so it's whatever. Marion Heretic. This one is actually pretty good. You learn more about the world. You learn more about kind of what's going on. I think the first issue I had problems with because it was so like much going on. There was a lot of information and they're kind of introducing you to the world, so that's I guess to be expected. But this one does flesh it out a little bit more. It slows it down a little bit more. You get an understanding of what's going on a little bit more. I think if you look this up and you kind of vibe with the aesthetic, basically the story is essentially like the church forcing this woman who has different beliefs to be a nun that works as like a witch hunter or demon hunter. And then she starts kind of talking to these witches and starts kind of trying to free herself. Maybe. It's still early days. Issue 2, of course, but that is the vibe. And if you kind of look it up, you like the vibe, you like what you're reading, you like what you're seeing, I think you will enjoy it because that the vibe that you see on those previews and stuff is pretty much the story. And I am enjoying it. I'm going to keep reading it and see how it goes. I think there's a lot of fun moments, a lot of cool moments. So I would recommend this if you're curious about it. New Gods 12. This is the end of the series, I believe. I from where everywhere I can see officially it's the end, but there's just some talk and rumors or whatever that it's like gonna keep going. But I don't know. I would love a spin-off though. It's very good. I really enjoyed this series. If you're a fan of Mr. Miracle or Orion, Big Barda, just kind of everyone in the New Gods corner, I think you'll really enjoy this. I do hope that this series gets more attention and the New Gods get more attention because they're a lot of fun. And let's go over all my new comic books I got. We got Batman, Green Arrow, The Question, Arcadia. I actually don't know anything about this one, but I really like this art right here on the cover. And I really like these characters. I think I am only gonna get this first issue for now at least. I'll read it and see how I feel, but probably get the trade down the line. But it does look very cool. Next we have DCKO #2. I'm excited about this series. Just this is the current event going on right now, so I'm excited about that. I'm curious to know how it plays out, what goes on, and all that. I think it's pretty clear we know who the winner is, but that's fine. I think it's not really about like who wins the tournament and whatnot because you can't really avoid spoilers when you have to like advertise the books that are coming, and then the previews will like spoil stuff. So I think it's more so about like the fun of the event and kind of what happens after the event, like the fallout or whatever. But yeah, I'm excited to get into this and see what happens in issue 2 of this event. Immortal Legend Batman. This is #4. #3 definitely did a lot to pull me into the series, but because 1 and 2 were so iffy, I'm not sure if I might drop the series. I think if #4 is not that great, then I probably will drop it, but I might just end up getting the trade down the line anyway, so it's not a huge deal. I just don't want to keep investing into it if I'm not really enjoying it. But otherwise, I like the atmosphere and the vibe and the aesthetic. I think it's still like missing like a punch. I feel like there's more it could do with the material it has, but it doesn't really seem to follow through on it. At least not yet. We'll see with issue 4 at least. And then for my trades or hardcovers, I got Robin and Batman, Jason Todd. Now this one just came out. I do have the first one in this series, the Dick Grayson one, and I did really enjoy that one. I've heard mixed things about this book specifically, but I haven't read it yet, so I finally have it. So I'm gonna get into that and see how it is for myself. From what I have seen though, it looks promising. It didn't look that bad or anything like that, but this is gonna be an added collection to Jason Todd's stories that I've been kind of going through. Transformers Volume 2. I got Volume 1 maybe a couple weeks ago, and I really enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. So I'm excited to get into Volume 2. I think if you're new to Transformers or you're not a really huge fan, I think you'll still really enjoy this series because it's really easy to get into, and I highly recommend it to anybody, fan or not. This series definitely really surprised me. I know this is the rebooted universe that's combining it with G.I. Joe and their original thing, Void Rivals. I don't know how I feel about that. I think a Transformers cinematic universe is like a cool idea, but with G.I. Joe seems a little random, and I am not a big fan of G.I. Joe. I'm not really a fan of G.I. Joe like at all. So I don't know how I feel about that. But I've heard the G.I. Joe books are actually pretty good, so I might give it a shot. But for now I'm just reading the Transformers books because I really enjoy them. Finally, I got DC Finest Batman Red Skies. I've been wanting to get this for a while, and then I saw it and I bit the bullet and finally bought it. This is pretty big though, but I'm gonna try to dive into it and see how the stories are. This is also technically added to my Jason Todd kind of stories. I am curious about this what's in here because I don't actually know the specifics of it, but I know there's a lot of Jason Todd stuff, which will be a lot of fun. And I know that the DC Finest line is pretty good. I think the only other one is the Cassandra Cain Batgirl one, but this will be definitely really good with my whole like timeline of Batman books because I don't know if you can really see it, but up there I have the Batman books ordered like chronologically instead of like release order or alphabetical order or anything like that. I think just it makes more sense to me to go like here's year 1, here's year 3, and so forth and so on. Dick Grayson, Jason Todd. I think it makes more sense that way. But yeah, this is definitely going pretty early in that because Jason Todd is Robin in here. Excited about this story. But yeah, that's everything I got this week for new comics. And then I also have been trying to read Compendium 2 for Nightwing. Of course, I have Compendium 1. I finished it, but these are huge books. So it's gonna take me some time. I was hoping I could probably finish it by the end of this month, but like it's Thanksgiving week, the month's almost over, and I'm like this far in, like that little bit in. So I'm not even halfway, and I only have a few days. So I'd have to like really lock in the next few days to try to finish this. I definitely could, but no promises. So this might be a finish it in December type of thing. But then, as you can probably see right here, I have the Nightwing New 52, Grayson Nightwing Rebirth, and then Tom Taylor Nightwing, which is the order. Uh, There's a Compendium 3 for Nightwing that's supposed to come out like early next year, but I don't have it because it's not out. But that would be in between what I just showed and this New 52 one. I don't know if there'd be a Compendium 4 or 5 and so forth because Compendium 3 is not going to cover that entire Nightwing line. So I'm sure they will release something. Otherwise, there are trades of that line. They're just kind of hard to find. They're not printed anymore. But I have most of Nightwing's run, so it's fine. I just need to get like stuff that happens. Like I think there's a Tom Taylor Volume 2, and then I'm currently reading the Dan Watters one, which is right after that. So generally I have his whole comic book line of as the Nightwing. But yeah, that's kind of everything, book tour of the comic book trades to come soon, if I can find the time. And then adding decorations, novels, mangas to the shelf if I have the room. The behemoth would be like organizing my comic book issues. They're semi-ordered relatively, but they're not perfect. So I need to go through each and every one of those to try to organize them, and then probably do its own tour video for that. If I can do it before a bookshelf tour, then I might just incorporate that all into one video. But otherwise, that's gonna be its own thing. But yeah, that's everything I got today. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys have been reading, and I'll see you next time. What do you think, Luna?